Well, everybody, it's been 2 weeks, in fact, and not because there wasn't a chapter last week. There was, but EliteAri was too lazy. Just didn't want to record anything. Embarrassing. EliteAri, you got anything to say for yourself?
Yeah, I hate recording things, especially new scripted videos. Oh my god, it's terrible.
Why didn't we record it last week again? It was definitely my fault. That was the joke, chat. I don't know if you got it.
Well, I think you
Oh,
were
I did
busy the first
nights.
day, and
Yeah,
then
I
like
did
I was
nights
busy the
last
next
week.
day or something. And
I was,
yeah,
yeah, I had 2 night shifts, and they were on like Tuesday and Thursday. And then I was like, is another one coming out next week? If the case is,
mm.
then let's just wait, because you don't want it to come out on Saturday, and then in 3 days it's outdated. How long did
Yeah.
this chapter come out?
Just
Today, right?
just no chat. I messaged him every day. I was like,
Yeah, he always
Chainsaw Man,
says
but no.
CSM, and I'm like, oh, this fucking
Yeah.
badgering prick.
Yep.
It did come out this morning, right, or yesterday?
Yesterday. Yep.
Yeah, we're very topically and on
Almost
point
24
this
hours
time.
ago.
Wait, EliteAri, I don't know
Yep.
the answer. Hopefully you do. When is the next chapter coming out?
7 days.
Oh my
There you
god,
go.
this fucking idiot
Or
and his
maybe
7 days.
6 days now. Yeah.
Always coming out week to week. Weekly releases, can you believe that? But yes, we are talking about chapters 126 and 127. The Alliance chapters, haha, you get it, EliteAri. First one called Food Fight, the next one called I don't know, EliteAri, do you know off the top of your head?
Yep. Save the Usser.
Huh. What a
A good old
title.
reference to Save the Cat, the best chapter so far.
Oh, okay, I didn't realize that. I thought we were just being grammatically incorrect because, silly Chainsaw Man.
Mm.
Isa is a cat. Well, he does have that cat thing right before that. We're not up to that, EliteAri. Stop getting ahead of yourself.
All right.
Chapter. Well, do we do overall thoughts? What do we do in these fucking Chainsaw Man chapter reviews?
Yep.
So I ask you your overall thoughts. You say good, and then you ask me, and I'll say good. Okay. EliteAri, what do you think of
Okay.
these chapters?
Good.
They're pretty good. Kind of good. Medium good. Medium well.
Oh, you want me to expand on it? Yeah. Let me think. So, um, I love reading Chainsaw Man week to week. All right. So much happens. The it's just beautiful. The art is great every time. You can never expect what's going to happen next. With Fujimoto is willing to do anything. Um, I love this little mini arc. It's been great. It feels like it's very nearly over. I'm gonna miss it when it's over. I love the Falling Devil. I thought these two chapters were great.
Nah, the Falling Devil sucks. We hate her. She's mean. But the chapters, they're Chainsaw Man chapters. Nothing ever happens in them. I don't know what EliteAri's talking about. They're all three
Right.
pages. And reading them week to week sucks. I wish there was 50 chapters out that I could read them all at once. But, it's pretty good.
Cool.
We're having a food fight, EliteAri. This bitch's head's getting chopped off, but it's back together even though it's not part of her. But I guess she possessed it, so that's how that works. Writing down the law.
Yep.
This chapter is a
She
big,
just doesn't exist.
a big fucking Denji fight. Now, last time we were probably like, can Denji beat up the devil? And the answer's like, not really, but kinda, right?
It looks like he can, but he's pretty hopeless at it. And at the end, he like ate her, and then she expanded out of his stomach. So I feel
Yeah.
like not really.
It feels like she's just fucking with him the whole time, kinda.
Yep.
Now, I don't remember what the fuck happened in this chapter, so we're gonna read some dialogue. You must be Chainsaw Man. I won't kill any more humans. There's no need for us to fight. My final task is to drop Isometrica into hell. That's not nice. And then I'll take my leave. Did you say drop Isometrica? I fucking aim into hell. That's right.
Hmm.
Obviously. Well, interesting, EliteAri. She says she doesn't want to kill any more humans, but she's just going to drop Isa into hell, implying that might not kill her. Which I guess it doesn't. If we're doing technicalities here, I guess somebody else is that weird devil we remember, EliteAri, is going to eat her. Or do they have other aspirations with Isometrica?
Surely it's other aspirations, right?
Yeah, that's more plot interesting. But I don't think she's actually going to hell, so maybe not. Maybe they do just want to kill her, but this is going to be avoided.
So what does she want? Why does she care more about Asa going to hell than killing all the residents of Earth?
We didn't. I assume we didn't get an answer about this in the next chapter. I did read it, but I could have forgotten.
I don't remember which chapter it was, but they talked about feeding the residents of hell, like that being their job
Yeah.
specifically, right?
Yeah, but that just seems like I'm an evil bitch. I mean, she's a devil, you know.
I wonder if that implies something about like
They're hungry.
that. Well, that's what I mean. But I mean, so the one thing we know about devils is that they get stronger the more you're afraid of them. Um, like, is there some power like that where it's like Asa is the most X, whatever X is, like afraid, suicide or whatever, I don't know, and that makes devils really strong for some reason? Like, is that a thing? Or is it more of a Yoru thing where it's like, oh, the war devil, we don't care about Asa, but we care about the war devil somehow?
Yeah, but it
I don't know.
seems they're not talking about the war devil, huh? Now, we've obviously
Yeah.
implicated Fami in this whole discussion. She seems to know what's going on, potentially is causing all this. So maybe she wants Isa out of the picture so her sister can come back or something, but it's like her sister's choice to go into, and I'm pretty sure she could just leave at any. She can kill Isa at any time. So maybe she knows that Euro doesn't want to do it. Did I say it right, EliteAri?
No,
Yoru.
but don't worry.
Um,
Okay.
Fami knows that she doesn't want to be fully in control or be an owl anymore. Remember that? And
Yep.
so they have a disagreement. Like she wants Fami's actually the little sister, and she's like, "I want my big sister back, and this fucking bitch is in the way." So she wants Isa killed. There you go. I figured it out.
I do. You know what? I feel like it is going to be some like childish sibling kind of thing in the
Yeah.
end, where yeah, I don't know what it'll be like if the two. Who were the siblings again? So we got Fami, we got who's the war devil, we got us, or Yoru, who's the war devil.
And then Makima slash Nayata, greatest character of
Yep,
all time.
control. Oh, and then Death, who we don't know
Yoshida,
yet.
my favorite of the sisters.
Right, right. Yes, the okay. What's like a childish like sibling kind of thing?
She
Could it
stepped
be
on
like
her dress
they're
one
all
time.
jealous that oh
Yoru's the prettiest one
maybe I guess
because she's an owl.
that's a good one. It could be that.
But we've literally only see her as Isa's like doppelganger, and presumably she hasn't always looked like Isa.
Maybe she has, and it's like a coincidence. That'd
Oh,
be
it's like the
crazy.
thing where the shonen protagonist is always somehow historically and culturally the most important
Like
thing.
looks similar.
Yeah, to the
Oh, but
oldest hero. No, that is kind of the point,
yeah.
right? Um,
Yeah.
I was gonna do a One Piece spoiler that would even be a spoiler for Miller, just to piss him
Oh
off,
boy.
but I won't do that. I guess by implication he could kind of figure it out, but he probably won't. I think it was too vague. But every time this fucking idiot is the
Okay.
most important. Naruto, he's the reincarnation of Indra and Nissa, but I think that's actually not the case at the end, and then he disproves that or something. But he's also got the nine-tailed fox in him, which is actually the most strongest. Fucking somehow Isa is the reoccurring image throughout history, and we just happen to be following her.
Yeah.
And it'll go even further against my complaints one time about how Isa seemed like the most random of random girls at the beginning, but actually she was the most important. Now, what were we talking about? Sisters, stepping on dresses,
Sisters.
the prettiest one. They're
Yeah.
mad about something. I don't know. We'll find out this Isa shit. I don't want to speculate. Speculation sucks.
All right.
Except when I want to. Obviously, Denji wants to protect Isa because he's still in love with the only girl that'll give him any attention, even though he promised Nayata he wouldn't, because Denji's a big fat liar. He doesn't keep to his word. Can you believe that?
Yep.
Crazy. I was given a job to feed the residents of hell. She said in this chapter,
Oh
EliteAri,
my
you
God,
idiot.
there's the line. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Asamitica is
Crazy.
the final course. Nothing you say makes sense. This is great, though. Now I have an excuse to kill you. That's that old Denji spirit. We love him. We love killing for personal gain. That's what makes him lovable, right?
Yes.
At least the way he goes about it, Keep your hands off my potential ex-girlfriend. Another funny line. Oh, dear. And then she touches him. You're impeding my cooking. I must ask you to leave. And she wants him to fall. And then he remembers all the power and Aki showed up for a second. All of Denji's trauma.
Yep.
He's all sad, so he starts
True.
floating. And then he does the meme
His
funny
dad
thing.
is nowhere to be in sight, right?
Yeah, his dad's not here. No fucking
Thank
dumb
God.
doors that didn't pay off or whatever. And then she wants to follow Isa's scent. And then kapow, he's back down and chopping her in half. The most generic joke you ever seen, EliteAri, but it's funny because it's Chainsaw Man, right? Because of layers.
What, like, eat this?
Yes, and he's fucking down.
Yes.
Because that's exactly what's
It's
going to
great.
happen, obviously. But for whatever reason,
Yeah.
it's Chainsaw Man, so it's great. And then he starts thinking about silly, like, non-scary things, which is another generic, unfunny joke. But it's funny because it's Chainsaw Man. And he's talking about France or something. Oh, because this fucking dumb bitch is from France. The joke works on 17 layers.
Yep.
Oh my god, EliteAri, the greatest manga of all time. Until we get to the next chapter. That chapter sucks. Hold on, EliteAri. I've implied things in the Discord that the chat is not aware of. Give me
Okay.
Do you know what over or under means when you're betting and stuff?
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah. Over or under, do I like or dislike the next chapter? Predict it now.
Okay, so for context in the chat, I'm pretty sure Kyle said that he thinks it's terrible.
I said shit chapter, I don't like it.
Yep, and it is
No,
a
actually
Asa
what
chapter.
I said was at Minty, chapter sucked, or something. But yeah.
I mean, generally, I know you like Denji way more than Asa. I know you like comedy more than character stuff. So everything is, and you saying it's a bad chapter, everything points towards you loving chapter 126 and hating 127. So I think you're being honest about it.
Well, we're not revealing anything. It's a very interesting conversation.
All right.
And we got to get through this fucking good shit so we can talk about the interesting shit. And my very personal experience with this chapter that maybe EliteAri will care about and maybe some select members of the audience will care about, but the wider public would be like, what the fuck is going on here? There's layers and there's jockey bacons, all right?
Oh my god.
She calls him a stupid boy. Corn dogs, I want to eat corn dogs from France. Oh no. When I fight devils that use mental attacks, I cut up my brain as a rule. Again, another dumb joke, but it's so funny, EliteAri. Yummy, then
What a
stop
genius idea.
Yes, literally cut brain, Lamau. But the other joke is that Denji's already a fucking idiot, so he doesn't have to cut his brain. Oh, again, 17 layers. And that's not even the layers we talk about. And then he screams yummy as he's eating her, and then the silly fucking death devil here is, or no, what is she again? Fallen devil here is she's playing into the joke, nonchalantly saying, stop that, I'm not a corn dog. Perhaps you're right, though, a chef ought to experience being eaten at least once. And now we know that Denji's got some wacky power about eating things, so we're like, oh no, she might actually die. Does she know that? But then no, she's just doing a funny meme where she destroys his insides. Thanks for the 5-star experience. If you'll excuse me, it's time I returned to my cooking. And he gets exploded and stuff. And he's like, but then he saws her in the head. I thought he was passing out, EliteAri. That's not what happened. Then he says, yippee. What a funny bloke.
And she has 5 fingers.
Does
Can you
she?
believe it? I thought she'd have 4 or 6, yeah.
She needs 6 like Void. Remember Void?
Oh, wait, no, she has a human hand. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. She's made
Yeah,
of like dead bodies. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, is that where she got all those hands from? I guess.
Yeah.
Because the Darkness Devil had a lot of hands too, huh? Remember that? What a darkness.
Oh my god, maybe he came from a body as well. Like there were dead bodies in hell. Oh my god, it's all coming together.
Yeah,
Actually, that's a good point. What would the falling devil look like in hell if there's no? She's like a primal devil, right? And she never would have been able to die. But then I guess we're implying that they can travel to hell.
Yeah,
Like
sometimes you got to
devils
feed
and
hell by throwing people to them through those doors. I guess. Maybe.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
True. Yeah.
And then she says, "I detest ugliness," which I guess.
Oh, I just had a thought. Wouldn't it be? I mean, this is kind of not really speculative. Wouldn't it be interesting if we got a chapter or like a mini arc even where we open following the perspective of a devil that just looks like a human, and it feels like we're just following a new character, and then at the end of like this arc, it gets revealed that we've been hell this whole time, and hell is kind of similar to Earth. And there are a lot of devils who just look like humans and behave like humans, you know.
Yeah.
And then we get to reveal like, oh, it's actually like hell, and these are all devils, and that'd be interesting. Even that as like a part 3 concept, I guess, or something.
Yeah, I feel like it reminds me of something, but it's another remind me of something moment where I can't place it. Where, like, at the end, it's like, oh, we're actually on a different planet, or but it makes sense in context of not like, of like, there are 2 planets, like there is heaven and, not heaven and hell. We don't know about heaven yet, but Earth and hell, and it's like, oh, like, yeah, this is possible in the narrative. It's not like fucking, something that doesn't matter. It's not like a story. I'm trying to think of a story idea. It's not like Naruto where there's never been an implied other realm. I guess Naruto has other realms because, again, see, this is why I was struggling to get an example, because initially I was going to say Game of Thrones. Then I was like, actually, Preston tells me Game of Thrones is space and stuff. Never mind. It would be smart, EliteAri. It's plausible.
Okay.
And I feel like I've seen something
Thank
else
you.
where it was similarly plausible, and it happened, and I'm being starkly, I think that means strongly, slightly reminded of it. Then she runs off after Denji's like bleeding out and is everywhere. And then somebody mysteriously who has little cufflinks like Yoshida, gives him blood, but we don't actually see who it is.
Do you think this might be Yoshida?
I think so. He's got to show
Do you
up
actually?
at some point.
There is no way you think that's it. Do you actually think that's him? Surely not.
Now, the subversive thing is for it to not to be Yoshida, but therefore, what
The
Chainsaw
subversive thing
is
makes it impossible to
But
be
then the
Yoshida.
subversive thing is actually not to do the subversive thing, so therefore it is Yoshida. Fight with that logic.
I feel like no matter what, either if they're subverting it or if they're not, I think it's why would it be Yoshida? Like what? Let's say it is Yoshida, right?
Why not
And
show him?
the idea is that we see him here, and the audience is meant to think, okay, so it's Yoshida, the guy with the sneakers and the black pants who has a weapon that can cut himself, and he thinks that Denji's important, right? Okay, so then the subversion is that we're meant to think that, okay, it's so obvious it's him that he can't be him, right?
Just get to the part where you say it's the Justice Devil, you fucking hack fraud.
It is the Justice Devil, okay? Of course it is, because we know that the Justice Devil is a student at the school. We know the Justice Devil has appeared all the way around Denji so many times. We know that they have some reason for the Chainsaw Devil being here because they're going to be tying into that clone Chainsaw Man as well. It's all coming together, right?
Yeah, it's fucking Denji,
anyway.
bro. It's Chainsaw Denji. Dark Chainsaw Denji.
That'd be crazy.
Kishibe doesn't
What
wear
if we get revealed that
shoes
Chainsaw
like
Man... Oh no, that Denji has a brother.
Oh my
That'd be
god, he has a
interesting.
twin brother. I was thinking about something like... I was thinking about a twin brother storyline in something. It wasn't Chainsaw Man very recently, like today or yesterday or something. And now you're saying this, EliteAri. But I was like, oh my god, that would be so funny yet so stupid. Oh, I was thinking about a wrestling thing. Where like a twin shows up or something. And there actually was a wrestling angle one time where there were twin referees, and like one of them was evil referee who screwed Hulk Hogan, and the other one didn't. And there was the Hebner twins, and then they went on to be a famous refereeing family. It's a whole thing. That did happen.
I would be afraid to be a referee.
Yeah, but somehow I didn't think about that. Wrestling's fake. What are you afraid of, EliteAri?
Well, because they can go off script, right? And like, if it's funny or whatever.
To get like to fuck people over, do a fast count or something. Has happened in wrestling. Funny stories, EliteAri, but we don't need to go into all of that. When's Chainsaw Man going to do a wrestling reference like Berserk or like Naruto? Like a real good series.
Well, I was going to say, isn't Power one, but that's like South Park, right? Or something.
Yeah. With, actually, a famous South Park character, Eric Cartman, for the audience that didn't know that.
Oh my god. I saw a video the other day that proved that Power was actually a Fooly Cooley reference. And I was like, wow, didn't Kyle say something like that before?
No, the cigarette.
It was crazy. It just makes it kind of like, it almost ruined Power for me when I saw it. I was like, Jesus
EliteAri
Christ.
hates Fooly Cooley shit for some reason. He's like the only person in the world, and he doesn't understand
It's
how
the
anybody
closest
could
I got
like
to unironically hating Chainsaw Man. I couldn't believe it.
I feel like
Anyway.
I had a moment like that in the next chapter that we're going to get to. Never mind. I was like, what does that remind me of? Oh, Chainsaw Man, next chapter.
All right, let's
Not what you
keep
think,
going. All right.
So I still
Yoshida
need
shows
you to
up, but it's
fight
actually the Justice
Chainsaw
Devil.
Man. It's fucking Fammy. These don't look like girl shoes though.
Yeah, where? Oh my god, did she steal Yoshida's outfit? And oh my god, that's crazy.
She's because
They had sex, and then afterwards she put the wrong outfit on.
Tease me, EliteAri. There's no sex, right?
True.
No, because
wait. So just to
I
clarify,
got a thingy. She found
Alright,
his
go ahead.
food, and then he ate her, and that means she possesses her now because food is famine and famine
Oh,
is
that's
food.
crazy.
Now fucking go ahead with your.
So it's kind of like when Power appeared from like as a chainsaw in the final chapter of part 1. So Fammy will appear later on as like a part of Denji or something. Is that what you mean?
Oh yeah, it was Power's blood or whatever that made the chainsaw or something. I remember now. I was like, what the fuck is this idiot talking about? But that is what happened.
All right.
Now what was your thing? Was that your thing?
I just wanted to clarify. So we got Denji on the floor dying, and then we like turn the page and it's like a big zoom in of Chainsaw Man, and then we get dialogue saying, "I still need you to fight Chainsaw Man." Do you think that's the person saying that? Is that a voice in Denji's head? Is that the falling devil talking? Like it's a bit ambiguous.
It's definitely Yoshida.
Okay.
Look, there's like running lines because they're running and we're seeing from first person mode.
But the falling devil is also running, right?
Oh yeah.
Is that really? You
probably
think that's the perspective of the person?
Yeah, probably not, huh? Because first of all, they're already there, unless they're running away. So when Denji wakes up, he doesn't know who it is, so the mystery can carry on. I can see that happening. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't
Anyway,
matter. But it
yeah.
is the person that gave him the blood, I think.
Okay.
Then she runs over to
That's also what I
Isa
hoped.
and then Isa says, "It found us," and then the thingy says, "I found you." Get it? It's a funny joke, EliteAri.
Yep, I agree.
Classic. All right, that's the good chapter. Now we get to the interesting chapter. Are we going through? When do I start my diatribe about the funny thing that happened to me while I was reading this chapter? And how Jockey Bacon has evolved. She's flicking her around. We're seeing her first-person perspective again, EliteAri, just like we were seeing when it was flying around. See? You were right the whole time.
Yeah, it's cool.
She's like hanging on to a thingy, and then she's like, haha, don't you want to die, Lamau? And Isa's like, yeah, I guess, Lamau. And then she speed runs every arc you've ever seen. All themes are the same. And then she actually arrives at the bad conclusion that she should kill herself. And then Denji stops her. And then Lamau, he's like convincing her it's kind of funny. And then he concludes that he wants to have sex at the end. We just sped run the chapter. We can go through it in more detail.
Nice.
But EliteAri, what happened to me when I was reading this chapter? Now, I don't even know if it's Jockey Bacon that said this. And the funny thing is it might have been you. But somebody said like the other day that they were like, I think it was Jockey Bacon in our Vinland Saga discussion about themes, where he was like comedically reiterating that I was actually right in my Ava video, the old Ava video, where I say that every story has the same theme, that like life sucks, but you got to keep going, and like getting friends will help you out or whatever. So in my head, I mind fucked myself, EliteAri, by somehow secondhand cringing at Bacon's funny caricature of my old opinion. I was getting secondhand cringe from myself and something I disagreed with, pretending that they were like sitting next to me. I was like, oh, Transfer Man's bad. This fake person over here is embarrassed because it's literally doing to a T what Shitty Kyle Entertainment in 2019 thought. And for whatever reason, do you remember Jockey Bacon saying this? Did anybody say this recently? Did you say this?
I don't know. I'm like mind fucked right now because I feel like I wrote that in a script the other day, like about that idea. Maybe I said it, or maybe Bacon said it, and I was reminded of it because he said it. I got no idea. Jesus.
So yeah, it might have been EliteAri, but nobody remembers, so that's good. But you know when you things are bad. How are things bad, EliteAri? Things are bad when you like. No, things are good.
There's different layers of bad.
Yes,
Yeah.
Things are good. When I'm rereading Berserk, as I'm doing, EliteAri, and you remember Berserk, you remember the outline, you remember the themes, you remember the characters, you remember large things of what happened, and then you get to Berserk, and it's even better than you remembered. But it's even better than you remembered because of all the little details and because it goes even further in the directions you liked and even adds some other things to it. And you're like, oh my god, Gambino is actually not a like kind of boring character who is just like Guts' kind of nice, sometimes kind of bad, abusive parent. Here, there's like many things here, and he's in it for like 1.5 chapters, but my goodness, he's like doing this thing, and it's like, oh my god, Gambino. So fleshed out, so ambiguous, so unique. Oh, I gotta make a video about Gambino and Shizu. That'll come out eventually, EliteAri. And you're like, it iterates on your memories. It's even better than you remember, but to just frame it as that way is like underselling it. There's like, it's like you're ready for these sort of plot beats to be hit and for you to like them because of them. Like, oh, Gambino's going to betray Guts and you're going to feel that betrayal. And then you kind of remember, oh yeah, I guess that's how like the plot aligns. But then you go through on the little details and it ramps it up even further. And you're like, oh, I really like Gambino in this moment. I really don't like Gambino in this moment. And then when you get to the end, it hits even further and you're like, oh my god, there was even more nuance in these actions and it just adds to things I like about Berserk. And it's sort of the same thing, but now it's more fleshed out because you remember it more. And it's very good to go back and reread things and to realize there was like, It almost gives you the feeling of reading it for the first time because there's even more there than you remembered. You didn't remember every single little panel and little detail, and you're like, oh, this is the greatest thing of all time. So that's why you like something, EliteAri, or why you really like something. Now, what happened with this was that I was in the opposite mode of that, where it's like, oh, I know exactly what's going to happen. I know exactly how this chapter is going to go. And at every point, it was like exactly what 2019 Kyle Entertainment was talking about. And I was cringing. But I wasn't cringing at Chainsaw Man because I knew Chainsaw Man wasn't doing it because Chainsaw Man was doing it on our Layers meme where it was actually good. But the whole time, I had mind fucked myself into getting secondhand embarrassment for fake Kyle Entertainment through Jockey Bacon or through EliteAri. We're still up in the air at this. Judging Chainsaw Man. You know the thing where you're watching a reactor or you're watching somebody play through The Last of Us Part 2 or something, and you get into the moment and you're like, oh, you sort of get hypercritical of it and you're like, oh, they might think that's cringe. Oh no, they're not going to like it. That's what was happening, but it was just me. I got split personalities, EliteAri. Did any of that make sense?
It made sense, but is that the end of the story?
Yeah.
Or did you get to the? Is there more? So then you're saying, but the way you described it before. Why? Wait, why is it not bad?
Because
wouldn't it? All of your story just led to it being bad, right?
Oh. Yeah, but that story is dumb. Why? That second person doesn't exist.
Okay. I thought the thing you were saying when you gave an overview of this chapter was that you were expecting it to be telling that story, but that when Usa embraces it and is like, actually, I want to die.
No, I knew that was coming. That was fucking obvious.
Interesting. Okay.
So the thing is,
wow.
like,
all right, you were really in your head here. All right,
it was was just a weird experience, and then I wanted to see, because me and Minty are oddly different at times, but we are oddly very similar in a lot of things, and a lot of it is like inexplainable feeling stuff, and I was like, if anybody had this exact same experience, it would be Minty, because Miller's just gonna like it because, I don't know, he's on layer 1 over here. Miller the killer, my goodness. EliteAri is going to like it, but it's always going to be a different thing. But like Minty, maybe he had this exact same experience, because we've definitely had that in other things before, where it's like, I can't even describe this feeling, but it's like, oh, we're on the same page here, kind of type shit. It didn't seem like he did, though. And how could he? He probably didn't see the Jockey Bacon EliteAri message or whatever that prompted me to have that thought in the initial stages. But the thing is, like, she goes through this thing.
Wait, have you...
Go ahead.
Have you clarified to the audience what the theme is that you're talking about?
Oh, yeah, I was about to do that, but I didn't do that beforehand, and it would have been good to do that beforehand. Isa's, like, the theme is like, oh, you gotta have friends, and, like, life is actually worth living. Because everybody knows Isa isn't gonna die here, all right? At some point, I had convinced myself she was gonna die here, just because this was so generic in a sense. But, like, it was funny in the Chainsaw Man way that makes it not generic. But through my secondhand cringe, it was like, oh no, they're just going directly in this thing. And it's like, oh, he's gonna think it's funny. But, this was also, I don't know, did I make a reference to this in the Discord earlier about Rick and Morty? Did I ever bring up Rick and Morty to you today, EliteAri?
I don't think so.
I think the answer is no. For whatever reason, and I've never seen an episode of Rick and Morty in my life, but Rick and Morty's cringe, EliteAri, and I know you like it, you cringe for liking it because it's just cringe, Lamau. Yep. And this felt, it always felt Rick and Morty. This is a Rick and Morty joke, but Chainsaw Man did it good, because Chainsaw Man does all the Rick and Morty jokes, but good. That's what we're talking about. Rick and Morty's layer 1, Chainsaw Man is layer 2. It's funny. But like don't kill yourself, Lamau, cats and dogs, ice cream. It's like a Goku DBZ abridged joke. It's terrible, but it's funny. DBZ abridged is funny. But it's like ice cream and dogs, and then he hits it with the sex thing at the end. But I don't know, it just hit every, like corny Redditor, like, oh yeah, there is no meaning of life, but you gotta live for ice cream, bro. And it's like, oh, I know people who say that and are cringe, but Chainsaw Man isn't cringe for saying that, but somebody might interpret Chainsaw Man for being cringe for saying that, and that somebody might be 2019 Kyle Entertainment channeled through Jockey Bacon / EliteAri, and it's pissed me off right now. So the point is, this was a funny, weird headspace I was in while reading the chapter. The other point is, the chapter is good. And I don't actually hate it. And I was building it up to make you think that I hate it because I was being funny. Any thoughts about any of that?
Well, I truly did believe you hated it. And honestly, your conversation, I don't know if it's convinced me that you actually liked it. But okay, cool.
Should we go through?
I think you need to you need to stop cringing at your past self, because that point you made about all stories being the same was a good point.
Yeah, the problem is that it's a good point, but it's so cringe. What a dumb point. Stories suck. I hate entertainment. It's all the fucking same bullshit. We just sped run Shinji's fucking character arc here. We just sped run Guts' character arc here, and probably the rest of them. They're the only two characters that matter. They're the only two characters that exist. That's not Aaron's thing. Not all stories are the same, EliteAri, you fucking idiot. And that's not Thorfinn's thing.
It's definitely Thorfinn's thing.
Is
Uh,
it?
is it Aaron's thing?
I guess it's.
I guess
But
it is Aaron's thing.
Thorfinn's got the fucking.
It's definitely Thorfinn's thing. What are you talking about? Of course it is. His dad dies, and his whole thing is finding meaning in life. It's
Yeah,
absolutely the
but he
thing.
gets it through pacifism. Like, if all of his friends were like, I don't like pacifism, I'm going to go kill, he would say, fuck you, I still got a purpose in life, pacifism. That's sort of the thing that Chainsaw Man is kind of, I always say making fun of, which is not really what it's doing. But sort of, Chainsaw Man lives in, like, part of the other, like, cringe thing is, like, Chainsaw Man almost lives in my 12-year-old self ideology of, like, well, I just found out that religion is bad. Not that I was ever religious, but I was like, I'm watching The Amazing Atheist videos. I'm 11 years old. You know who The Amazing Atheist is, EliteAri? You watch him when you were 12?
I don't think so.
Well, he's a YouTuber. He doesn't like religion, Lamau. He's kind of stupid.
Hell yeah.
And everybody kind of watches him when you're like
Oh.
12 to 14, and you're like, well, this is kind of fucking stupid, and like, it feels like some 12-year-old thoughts. So you get in your 12-year-old thoughts, and you're like, man, there's no purpose to life. This fucking shit sucks. I just live for myself. But you've never actually thought any of these things through. You're sort of repeating things to be edgy. You were 14, right? You were edgy.
I don't know if I've ever been edgy, but yeah.
Yeah, EliteAri strikes me as a
Maybe.
fellow that was never edgy. But it's like, fuck the world sucks, everything sucks. I'm 14, I have no real problems,
Right.
but I think everything sucks. I don't even have a job yet. Now that's when things start to suck, EliteAri. But, you're just a stupid, dumb little fucking kid. And so Chainsaw Man sort of operates in there, but it's like the positive conclusion of that, of like, yeah, sure, nobody actually lives to like help people. Like, Chainsaw Man isn't a superhero or some shit. And nobody can actually do that, and that's not a motivating thing to anybody. But the funny Lamau, like, little personal pleasures in life, like patting cat, having dog, eating ice cream, fucking, these are like the points of life. And Chainsaw Man sort of, it actually does sort of embody that message a lot, where it's sort of like part of that edginess is sort of a rejection, and this is sort of repeats throughout a lot of media criticism of like, oh, the traditional story that tells you to be good to people and stuff like that. Sort of I guess Villain Saga ends up falling into this by the end, and I think that's why a lot of people sort of reject pacifism and stuff like that. Like, that shit sucks. Like, a normal message about, like, in a kid's show or something, like, this is generic and this is lying to you and nobody actually thinks this and it's so inhuman and generic and so on and on. It's sort of the opposite of that, where like all these edgy 14-year-olds are going to love Chainsaw Man for this thing. It's like part of the cringe is like, oh, I don't want to be that. That sucks. But it's so funny because it's Chainsaw Man. It's on layer 2. Where did I start this point at? What was I supposed to circle back
I
to?
think I don't remember honestly. I think you're trying to say that I think Chainsaw Man is like a tantruming teenager saying that all this nonsense, like, say, theme about like life being good and living and blah blah blah. That's ridiculous. But in reality, it is true, and because of that, it's unable to avoid portraying that as a theme. So he goes there kicking and screaming, but it betrays the theme in the end. But he would
No.
never admit that it's betraying the theme because, it's not that kind of story.
No, because I just figured it out, because it all goes back to Attack on Titan and talking to Minty. It always does.
Okay.
This is where life began. Me and Minty used to speculate a lot when I used to like to speculate about authors. We don't do that anymore, EliteAri. Besides, we're about to do it with
I've noticed.
Fujimoto. We used to say, is this fucking Isayama idiot actually just a big fucking idiot? And we went back and forth on this a lot. And depending on which point we wanted to make and was convenient to us at the time, we would say, oh, he's a genius, oh, he's a fucking idiot. I think we were on Isayama. There was no evidence that Isayama was married or something, so the reason there was no sex is because he was literally a virgin. I think either I was on that for a little while or somebody was. It was just like, oh, we're reading just dumb author shit. But we used to be like, oh, what if, and this kind of ended up being true, what if Isayama isn't doing a big moral message here with the rumbling? He's just sort of saying, well, life is kind of hard, and you have a bunch of hard decisions, and there is no right and wrong type shit. Now, I think a big... Well, you're 14, you're watching The Amazing Atheist. Then you turn 16, EliteAri, and you start watching Destiny. Yeah, EliteAri loves Destiny. He's fucking doing a little hand sign right now. He's like, yeah. Except EliteAri was like 26 or something. And I was actually 17. I was undercutting it at 16. And then you start to learn about virtues and ethics, and you're like, oh, actually, there are like responsibilities to you being a living being and stuff, and you should be good to people. And actually, all those messages that you thought were cringe were actually correct, and you were just being an edgy little shit teenager who was having a big pity party for himself. You're a fucking loser. So part of the point is that, like, the only reason we get to that point is because we have Destiny to watch and to tell us what to believe. And most people probably don't get that. And when you look around in the world, you kind of feel like most people don't get that. And they are sort of just left on their own and they don't really understand philosophy or something. This sounds like I'm putting myself on a pedestal, EliteAri.
You are.
And it's just kind of true. You just look around and you're like, oh, surrounded by fucking idiots everywhere. I kind of do this when I talk about media literacy, kind of, where I'm like, I've never met somebody in my real life that would know what character development was. So I can never have a media talk about anybody I've ever met in real life, so I have to talk to EliteAri and my friends on YouTube. But it's just sort of like a... And again, this is not a virtue of myself. I just happen to like YouTube because I liked watching wrestling videos and then Pokemon videos, then it ballooned out into a bunch of weird politics stuff. I was taught what to believe because I was guided there by a YouTube algorithm. I didn't seek this out. I'm not a truth seeker or EliteAri. That's how I break down the pedestal. The point is, Isayama and probably Fujimoto didn't have Destiny to teach you about morals and ethics. So you sort of got to... They're probably the type of people that you meet in your everyday life. Not a fucking loser Destiny fan. So they probably don't understand this, and so they're sort of struggling through that sort of growing up, and because you slowly grow out of sort of this drastic edginess, and trying to reason back that is like, oh, they don't understand ethics 101, and this is another thing we used to say is like being the most minor of a philosophy fan like destroys every theme and every story because it would just seem so generic. And like light note, and like there was like a YouTube video I think that was like a big meme at the time about how it was like a philosophy guy criticizing like basically all art or all pop art and their sort of thematic and philosophical messages or whatever. The point is, Fujimoto might not understand this, so it's sort of like looking at your past self and cringing at the theme stuff. I feel like that we kind of got to that point. Thoughts on that, EliteAri?
Okay, so then I think I understand with when you've learned something, when you frame the world a certain way through some father figure in Destiny, right? Someone who seems to know more about the world than you do.
Teacher.
You think less of others because it's like I've been enlightened and the others haven't, right? You don't necessarily think less of them, but the effect is that you will cringe at things they say. You will see media in a different way. You will think they are less enlightened than you. I think that's interesting. I think that is like a thing. The thing is that I think Fujimoto would be enlightened in a different way, and he would probably think that of you in certain aspects, right?
Yeah.
The thing I was wondering is when you're talking about like ethics and stuff. I don't know what you mean by like what is the thing that, say in this case, Fujimoto is not privy to, like the piece of like insight that you have that he doesn't. I'm trying to wonder.
Well,
like when you say ethics, like sorry, go ahead.
The ultimate point is that this is all ridiculous and stupid, and that I don't actually have any enlightenment or anything, and it's just sort of a impulse, intuitive thing where it's sort of like
sure, yeah.
And it's just like everything. It's a dumb intuition thing. The piece of how to boil it down, I would have to think about it more. But like this sort of the reveling in the Lamau life has, because I don't even think life has a purpose necessarily, but it's sort of like and it's sort of and this is all exacerbated by it like resonating with like dumb Redditors. Because it's like they remember when me and Minty would have conversations about this, when they would revel in the moral dilemma where Denji ends up saving the cat. Where it's like, it's sort of reveling because Fujimoto, and I don't think, because this sort of implies that he's got it all figured out, but I think it's just an intuitive thing for him too, where morally, Denji should be a piece of shit and we should all hate Denji. He saved a cat when he could have saved people, and obviously, basically everybody, even vegans to a certain point, especially in sort of a hostage situation, unless they're incredibly militant, would probably say the moral imperative is to save a human in that case over an animal.
Mm-hmm.
But Denji doesn't. Denji lets like 6 people die and saves the cat. But everybody loves Denji for it. I love Denji for it.
Mm.
Now, me and Minty were sort of cringing and inherently when that happened because we're like, oh, the Redditors are going to love this. These fucking 3 IQ Redditors. So it did take away from it in the moment. And I think this is a moment very similar to that now that I'm thinking about it. So the reveling in that
That's
is
really
sort
funny
of,
because the
yeah.
chapter title, right?
Yes, I didn't even think about that, but yeah. The but yeah. Did that kind of explain it? The not
No, it
understanding
makes sense. Yeah.
or not yeah, I guess that's the point.
Okay, I think I understand and I see what you mean. I didn't experience that, but I
Yeah, of
have in other
course.
contexts. Yeah,
Have you?
yeah,
Okay. Interesting.
yeah.
Because you'll
Particularly when
see
it comes to humor, I think, where it's like
yeah.
things, people finding things funny, but then you're like, I've heard that joke before and I've heard it explained better or something, and here you are trying to copy it in a way, I don't know, something like that.
Okay.
Not exactly that, but I kind of know what you mean.
The oh, I had a different way to explain it, but I've completely forgotten it. Oh my god. Remember
Yeah.
these moments? We couldn't go a thing without it.
Hmm.
Retrace your steps like 15 words, EliteAri. What did you say? Comedy, but it
I
was
kind of
before
know what
that.
you mean.
Yes, that's what he
Before that, I
said.
don't know.
Um, fuck! I'm not gonna remember it.
Reddit, I saved the Usa.
No, it was after
Um,
that. It was there for like 5 seconds. But I don't think it had to do with anything he said, so even that's not going to jog my memory.
right.
Um, let's actually go through this chapter then.
All
If we
right.
talk about it individually, we can break it down. So ice is falling.
Yep.
Now, like, oh, now part of me is just like, oh, hurry up and get over it. We know where this character arc is going. All right, fucking, you're obviously gonna want to live, Lamau. Now, I can tell by the way your muscles move, by the smell of your sweat. Your attachment to life is weak. To begin with, no. What truly scares you right now is the shock of the impact, the physical sensation of falling, the darkness of the sky. That's all. Close your eyes and you can be at peace. So this is the moment in every story where Guts is fucking, he's being shot, he killed Gambino, the fucking dudes chased him out of camp, he falls down the fucking cliff, he's impaled by an arrow, has a big fall, some fucking wolves show up and he's like, why am I still fighting? And instead, intuitively, he fucking stabs this fucking wolf and continues on and gets saved by some nice people after the horrible people. Well, that's thematically relevant, and we're not talking about that in this video. That's for another video, EliteAri. Oh, fucking Shinji gets the decision. He can do instrumentality if he wants, but then he says no, and it's the greatest scene in cinema history, and it's like 7 minutes, and fucking Come Todd
Hmm.
plays when he's kind of thinking about it. But then his mum gives a speech, and the Evangelion is going to be remembered forever, and the AV unit floats off in space, and the music swells, and in this sandcastle, and fucking, oh my goodness, EliteAri, the greatest thing you ever seen. When you're watching the rebuilds for a digest.
One day. And then Aaron's in a cave and he's given up on life and he thinks that he's not important after all. But then his story gives him a speech and he gets out there and he keeps trying,
Oh
right?
yeah, it is a moment like it. I was like, what is he talking about?
Yeah.
Cave there? And was never in a cave. You're talking about Ymir? But no, he was talking about Historia. Aaron had his moment way earlier, huh? Well, the Guts moment was pretty early too, huh? Only cowardly Evangelion puts it at the end. Basically, this is the thing about why, well, life sucks, why don't you just kill yourself? That's the fucking thing that's going on here, EliteAri. But for whatever reason, they continue on. Otherwise, it seems like she wasn't going to continue on, which I guess is more interesting. I guess that's different.
Mm.
She says, it's true, I feel so at peace. Also, Yoru is just doing sort of like faces at this point, showing that she can't really connect with her, and that's kind of the problem. If she was nice to her, then Yoru would be her friend, and then she would want to keep living because she would want to be around Yoru. Miller already pointed that out in
How
the Discord
about
comment, but yeah, go ahead.
how do you see the panel with you've got Yoru on the right and left and then the bottom you got all the trauma stuff. Um do you see that as like Yoru watching Asa from the distance and Asa just can't hear her? It's like Yoru's trying to yell at her and say something but
Yeah,
Asa
that
can't
could
hear
be
it, or
it.
do you see it as like her kind of just showing an expression?
It could be either. I just thought it was an expression, but it totally works as she's talking, but she can't hear, and she's just seeing the thing. Now, this fucking basic
Yeah.
looking bitch is class rep from chapter 1, right?
Oh my god, I thought it was the person who drowned the cat. But I guess it would
Oh,
be
yeah, I think it is the
it could
person
be
that
the
drowned the
class.
cat.
So.
Though we already got the
cool.
cat over here. I don't know. It's one of them.
Yep.
But yeah, I feel so at peace. I wouldn't have caused trouble for anybody else. These are all the negatives of leaving. So this is the unphilosophical mind's way of going through these things. I could see myself doing this if I never watched a Destiny to teach me these things, EliteAri. I don't have to cause anybody else trouble. I don't have to hurt anymore. I won't have to lie in bed and think about all the things I did wrong while I was falling asleep. I guess part of the rejection of this, and maybe the rejection of Isa in general, is that I relate more to Denji, I guess. Because I've never really been suicidal ever. So the fact of... I think in my brain I've always thought... and I've always thought this about the question, like, what is the purpose of life or whatever. You're always like... There's something default to me that's like... That's such an arrogant question to ask because it, like, assumes you're so important. And for whatever reason, like, suicide has always been arrogant to me in my head or something like that. And I've never really had any thoughts that lead down this way. And I've never really wrestled at all with, like, the meaning of life or anything like that. And there's a weird thing that Isa's character, and I see a lot of people that seems to depress them out, and that's like an Isa thing. Whereas Denji was never thinking about that shit. He was just fucking... He sort of represents masculine impulse in a sense. And, like, I don't relate to Denji in every way, but in a bunch of ways, I guess. It's kind of similar to Luffy, where it's like, I don't relate to Luffy in every sense, but, like, the primal spirit he embodies is, like, infinitely relatable. So that's why Denji's better than Isa. Your retort, EliteAri?
Well, I would say that Asa is not suicidal. I would say she's nihilistic, where she's willing to live life, but she doesn't care if she dies. She has no strong, compelling reason to live, and she has no strong, compelling reason to die. So I feel like she's in the middle there, is what I would say, rather than being suicidal.
Nihilistic. We could have this edginess is an edgy nihilism. Why didn't I say that earlier? But I think in this moment she is suicidal. I think that's true for Isa generally, but I think in this moment it's different.
What makes you think that she's suicidal in this moment?
Because she wants to fucking die. I don't think she's indifferent. She has to make a choice, and she's letting go. And she's sort of going through her reasons.
Because she's like, she thinks she's like trouble for people, and she thinks that she's always gonna get hurt.
I'd be better off dead.
So yeah.
You know that? And that'd pout. I feel like that's an Ava character says that at some point. Probably Asuka when she's sad. How come Asuka's suicidal, and I love her so much and say she's the most relatable character of all time? After what I just said, EliteAri.
True.
You just can't help these things. There's birds, Alita. Are you going to get confused like you did in that Berserk movie?
It is confusing because she's like falling downwards and the birds, is it implying the birds don't have trauma, you know?
Birds just fly on, they're doing everything, they can go wherever they want, flying sick. That's what it meant in the Berserk movie, that's what it means now.
Yeah. No, I think it's because there's two birds and they're separated and they get closer together and she's like, oh, I wish I had a boyfriend.
Hold on, I gotta read the text is saying, even though...
Yeah.
Oh, but I have one regret to everyone. Oh, this part was relatable. Everybody just wants a girlfriend/boyfriend, EliteAri, and they'd be happy. Friends are useless. Get rid of them. All you need is one girlfriend/boyfriend, right?
No, I'm in the complete opposite camp, I think. But,
Shake my head. Now Ice is the most relatable. Oh, but I have one regret. Even one person, even if it was only with one person... with all in my heart, I wish I had. Now, the funny thing is, Denji interrupts, and I kind of thought she was going to say she wanted to sex him, which is what happens at the end of the chapter. So I was like, oh. Now, the joke is, obviously, that they do both want the same thing. Now, this was Miller's comment that I nearly brought up earlier, and it's very evident, because that had tipped me off to it, and then I'm like, well, sex is sort of like Denji's... way of expressing, though he even, is it? Now, the point is, Denji wanted to touch boobs, then he touched boobs and was like, oh, is that all there is? Remember that song, EliteAri? You don't remember that song.
Yep.
It's a great
Wait,
song.
No, I remember the scene.
Yes. What a song. Is that all there is? What's the fucking name of that song? They played in a Mad Men 8 credits. It's so great. She talks about how her house nearly burned down and she was disappointed, and then she went to the circus as she was a girl and she was disappointed, and then she fell in love and got broken up with and was disappointed, and then she knows she's going to be disappointed when her life ends. Because in life, it's just a bunch of perpetual disappointments. That's some of that nihilism, EliteAri. I please. Hit the microphone.
Mm-hmm.
What a song. Everybody knows that song. Is that you got it, EliteAri? You remember it?
Yeah, my favorite. Love it.
So what was it? How did I ring that up? I was listening to that in the shower today, EliteAri, so it was on the brain. After I read Chainsaw Man, though I didn't connect them. Not until now. So Denji and Isa want the same thing. Oh, Denji wants to touch tits, and then he's like, is that all there is? That's where we're up to. So obviously he's going to have sex at some point. Now, probably not, because this is a manga for children, and we don't do that, and no manga will ever do that except for Berserk. Remember Vinland Saga? How disappointing. You know, I forgot to bring this up in our Vinland Saga thing, but I was, like, watching Thorfinn learn how to not interrupt Arnid and Einar as they were having a cute moment outside, remember? And he sort of figured out, oh, I shouldn't interrupt them so they can talk more, so they can hook up. And we're watching them fall in love, even though that's not really what's happening, because Arnid doesn't really love Einar, and the whole thing is complicated, and spoiler alert, doesn't end up happening. But, I thought in that moment, I was like, wouldn't it be so fun to watch Thorfinn fall in love? And then I'm like, oh, I made a video complaining about that. God, I just have the same thought over and over again. And that relates to this, because Berserk did and Vinland Saga didn't, I complained about it, but then I decided that was a bad complaint, and I'm complaining about it again. So the joke is that I'm a hypocrite, EliteAri.
Nice.
Because they're not going to show sex in this, though I think they might. I think
it's not impossible.
It can't be with Isa, though, because he's going to end up with Isa, because this is a hack fraud manga, and the two main characters are going to get together. But the point is, he's got to have sex and realize that that's not exactly what he wants. He wants a loving, fulfilling relationship just like Isa, and they're going to meet in the middle and run into each other's arms on a rainy day like The Notebook. I haven't actually seen that movie, but I think that's what happens. But then he has the thing at the end where he's like, I just want to have a lot of sex. And it seems like that is different from the relationship, because sex is sort of this sort of a nihilistic indulgence, I think it's perceived as by some people, by a lot of people, by most people. Like ice cream or patting a dog or whatever. So maybe those
I think the
separate.
point is that the Denji, when he has sex, it will be good. Like, it'll be portrayed as a good thing because he will have it with someone that he likes. I think he'll skip that stage of like having sex with someone he doesn't like.
He has to have
because like the end of part 1, the whole point, like that was his big realization, right? About like,
was it?
I want to be loved. I want to have sex. Yeah, with like Kishibe and stuff. Remember?
Yeah, but I
that was like his big outburst.
And why I really like that sex line is that it's not about a single person anymore, because he is still kind of in love with Makima at that point, but it's not just like. Well, I guess your point would be that he hasn't learned that step yet. But I don't know, that would sort of retcon what I like so much about that scene, is that I was actually kidding myself the whole time. I don't just want one girlfriend, like I want, doesn't he literally say that? He wants 10 girlfriends and stuff like that? Yeah,
he wants like Now,
obviously he's going to learn at some point that having one girlfriend is a nightmare, but having more than one, my goodness. But that's sort of like he wants excess is sort of the point, and that's sort of built up throughout the story of him sort of just wanting a normal life, but then he realizes he's kind of not satisfied with that, and some trauma comes with normal life, so he wants excess, and it's like, yeah, the potentiality of me doing Yamada's first time and fucking 100 girls from high school while I'm still in high school. Remember that, EliteAri? Remember Yamada's first time? Mm-hmm. That's great! I want to do that. Now, Yamada's first time message was also about loving one person and shit like that. So that fucking show sucks. Just like Chainsaw Man sucks.
True.
So yeah, Denji grabs her and stops her. What were we talking about? Sex? Are they gonna have sex was our contention. These two probably are, huh? How disappointing.
I wonder. I don't know. I could see it going either way. I could see them having sex, or I could see them having sex with other people as well.
Something's gonna happen with this sex stuff.
I was gonna say absolutely, but not necessarily.
But there's always that thinking, like, they're not actually gonna show a sex scene because they're like cowards and stuff. Like,
I mean, they've practically showed one with Power and Denji in the bath, right? Like, if you just like put like a sound effect or something, I think it would have been a sex scene.
Yeah, well, the Himeno one was closer, but they still didn't do it. Like,
no, I think the Power one was way closer.
He just touched a tit.
You know the one I'm talking about? After the Darkness Devil? No, after the Darkness Devil, where it's like Power's like freaking out, and it's clearly meant to be a sex scene, but they're just, without the context of it being a sex scene, it doesn't feel like one.
Yeah, but the power of that scene is like, ha ha ha, see what I didn't even do there?
Yeah. Well, what I mean is, like, if he's already portrayed it that way, all he has to do is add a few like sound effects. It's like, it's a sex. Like, there's no.
Are we gonna see thrusting? Is my point, EliteAri? Like, Wait, is the
I don't know,
cunnilingus
maybe.
only in the third Berserk movie? I can't remember if it's actually in the manga. But we see everything. And every part of it is
Yeah, true,
emotional
very true.
character climax too.
The
See
best
what I
sex
did
scene of all
there?
time, yeah.
There's no way Yukimura could do that. Why would I want him to do that? He couldn't. That would... Yukimura is such a
Yukimura or
wholesome
Fujimoto?
young man. No, I'm talking about Yukimura now. I'm back on my Vinland Saga thing.
Right.
Why did I want a sex scene in Vinland Saga? Gross. Vinland Saga is wholesome. They don't even show rape scenes. They're so fucking wholesome.
Yep.
Remember, I like that by implication. How come I don't like this? I'm such a hypocrite.
That's okay.
I want to see an awkward bit by bit as these two idiots who don't know what to do sex EliteAri. That's what I want, but they're not going to do it. Is my fear. They could totally do it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think any. The only thing that would stop it would be like censorship based on the publisher, but I also don't think that would come into Chainsaw Man. That's a pretty big property.
He fucking did it in Fire Punch, and it was great. He's gonna do it, EliteAri.
All right, there
what
you
are
go.
talking about? Why are you doubting?
All right.
It was almost
True.
I feel like Fire Punch is very interesting, EliteAri, because I feel like I don't think about it a lot. But every time I think about it, I'm like, man, Fire Punch. That's what I used to do with Chainsaw Man. Oh my goodness. He's got a type.
Oh my god.
Thing. I used to be like, man.
Is that a grip in the back of your mind?
Every time I think about Chainsaw Man, it's great, but I don't think about it that much. Because I used to say this was a big thing, EliteAri, on the early stream days you went around. I would say, I think about Berserk every day. It's so great that I just can't help.
It's the greatest story ever, right?
It's the greatest. It's not just the greatest manga ever told, EliteAri. It's the greatest story ever told.
Amen.
I can't tell if that's just a meme on our Discord, so people might interpret me again on being on layer one. I'm getting the secondhand cringe thing, EliteAri. It's all coming back. Everything ties in. I have one.
Let me be on layer on. I love it. I love Berserk. It's the greatest story ever told. All right, go ahead.
Shut up. He doesn't even like it. He won't even read the manga. He likes Attack on Titan more.
It's definitely not true.
What were we talking about? How is that not true? You better like Attack on Titan more.
I absolutely love Berserk more than Attack on Titan. What are you talking about?
No, he doesn't.
I think Griffith is better than any character in Attack on Titan. Absolutely.
Griffith sucks. Farnese is the best character. You wouldn't know. She wasn't in those movies.
True. No, she showed up.
Yeah, she did.
Anyway, enough of this. Chainsaw Man.
The point. Sex, good. I don't think about Chainsaw Man or Fire Punch that much. But there was a period recently where I didn't think about Berserk that much either. But Fire Punch did it. It was in Jump Plus, just like this. It was great. They're doing it again. Oh my god, it was so good, EliteAri. Can you remember Fire Punch?
Right.
That shit was crazy.
Yeah, true. Siblings? Oh, man.
It was the siblings. Spoiler alert, they fuck. And it's not the first chapter where they do the maybe fucking thing. It's straight on fucking EliteAri, and it was great, and I was totally down for it.
Crazy.
It was the great character moment. It was Guts and Casca 2.0. Imagine if Guts and Casca were brother and sister. It would have made it even better.
Right.
And then some character show up and they want to judge them for their incest. And I was like, man, I can't wait till they kill these fucking idiots. And then guess what, EliteAri? They fucking killed him. And by they, I mean Fire Punch Man. The girl is sort of Casca. She doesn't really know what's going on. Now, that might make it seem problematic, EliteAri. And it kind of is. But Chainsaw Man, that's heavy.
But who cares?
I remember when this fucking idiot Denji catches her and says it's heavy. Like, oh, what a heavy load she carries. That was cringe. No, it wasn't. It was funny.
That wasn't cringe. It was great. It's a meet cute, kind of.
It is, like... And then she starts doing the thing where she gets really flustered because Denji shows up and they're being flirty and stuff. She says, wait a minute! But then he cuts her off. Stop it, let me go, no, no. Whoa. I'm okay with falling, I accept it. Now, this is kind of funny. It's like how this is a big dramatic moment. Like in a lesser story where it is actually about nihilism, she would be very depressed in this moment. I've seen this in fucking Naruto or some shit. A character's about to kill themselves or something because they deserve it, and Naruto has to give a big speech about how life is worth living or something cringe like that. Actually, Naruto's great. But instead, Ice is like freaking out in a funny way. I'm okay, I'm accepting it. And she's like screaming and stuff. And then Denji says, it's life. It is nothing but pain, getting made fool of, getting your expectations up only to be blown. That's like that song. Is that all there is? Do you want me to sing it again, EliteAri?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you're supposed to say no, because I don't want to sing
it. You coward, I knew you wouldn't.
Isn't it? Well, yeah, but like, whoa. But look at this dumb Redditor right here. Well, yeah, but like, whoa. But then he's funny, EliteAri. Stop thinking that Jackie Bacon is sitting next to you judging you. It's like the worse you feel, the heavier you get. but upward. Now, that doesn't make much sense, EliteAri. I read it like 3 times, and I forgot about it till this moment. You get the idea, but this is not grammatically correct, right, EliteAri?
Oh, wait, what line specifically? 'Cause
The
I feel
heavier
like it
you
makes
get,
sense.
but upward. It's like the worse you feel, the heavier you get, but upward. Oh, never mind. He's literally like he's just figured out the mechanic here. And it's funny because Denji's an idiot.
Yeah.
It's like the heavier you get. Never mind. Now it's the greatest line in the chapter. Think happy thoughts. He's screaming at her. Cats, dogs, cats, dogs, cats. These fucking rape dogs. Don't trust them, EliteAri. That's what I was just saying that, but that's actually what I said. And then Denji's like, let go too. But now he's like confident and is like he's gonna win her over, so he doesn't even have to hold on to anything anymore. We stopped. Cats, ice cream. And then she's freaking out. She's crying. Don't remind me of cats. Oh, this is another thematic point, and actually this is kind of subtle, and I just figured it out now. So Transman is great, EliteAri. Was there any other doubt? She says, don't make me remember cats, but the cats are still making her stop falling because she remembers the good times with the cats. Just like Guts after the sex scene, he gets over his trauma, he remembers the good time with Gambino with the little lotion, and he's putting it on his nose. So after you get over it, you can sort of remember the good things with the bad, not just the bad things, because you're not in such a negative mindset, because you're a happy, positive person. That's what I suggested here about cats, because she's stopped, but she's remembering killing cats, but she's also remembering that cats are fun to pet. You understand?
Yep.
They're speedrunning this shit. Genius. I know how you feel, believe me, I've been there. Oh yeah, and then Isa does the trope where she's like, nobody knows how I feel. Oh, this is the greatest manga of all time. And then Denji, who had a way harder life than this dumb bitch Isa, who always complains and sucks. Just when life seems super awesome, as soon as you let your guard down, some crappy things happen out of nowhere. It screws it all up, right? Life isn't all bad, but day in and day out, all you can remember is the bad stuff. And the disasters keep piling up like a hamburger made of crap, right? Now Denji's making a crap burger joke, like he's very juvenile, like he is. How did you get over all of that, Chainsaw Man? Oh yeah, and then she asks him Chainsaw Man, like a fucking dumb kid. How do you get all over that, Spider-Man? I haven't, I'm not over it. Now Spider-Man, this fucking cringe shit, this layer 1 shit would say, well, I learned to fight through it and I am over it. But Denji, Chainsaw Man says, I haven't, I'm not over it. Now, this was actually a funny argument we were having with Miller, kind of, and I was kind of being sarcastic and jabbing him a little bit, because I like to do that, and we do that to each other a lot, because all we do is argue. He seems to think that Denji is going to outgrow this, but I think the point of Chainsaw Man is that you never outgrow this, and that life is never happy, but you do have some happy moments, so it's worth it. Now, I've been thinking about this a lot recently, EliteAri, that maybe you never get happy. Like, I thought, when I get a real job, I'm not going to be inside the house all the time, so I'm not going to be so depressed all the time and lonely. And that is kind of true. The loneliness is lessened. You know some people, you see that you have some effect on the world, you're not just trapped inside all day. But you're still kind of, like, the odd thing will have you anticipating it all week, and you'll be sort of sad for a few days, and then you'll sort of have a good few days, and it sort of goes back and forth. Is happiness achievable, EliteAri? I don't think so. That's what Chainsaw Man's saying. You're sort of just happy for a few days, then sad for a few days forever.
I wonder, because I was just thinking.
Oh my god, my heart was in my mouth. I was like, oh my god. For like 5 minutes, I've just been talking to myself, and I just realized, and I'm like, oh no.
No. You said something so profound. I had to sit there and pause for a moment.
Yeah, I say that all the time. I've been doing it all night.
Yeah, I guess I could only speak personally, and I guess if it would.
You seem like a happy person, EliteAri.
It would be added to the story. Yeah, for me, I get it's interesting. My happiness, my true happiness in life comes from connections with other people. So talking to other people, like we're doing right now, right?
This is very fun.
Yeah, so for me, without friends, I would not have a happy life. The thing is that Denji doesn't have friends really. So I wonder if he created some friends and had a nice close. I think I've talked about this before in part 2, but I feel like if he has a nice big circle of friends, I think I could see that happening. I don't know.
It's interesting.
What does Denji do during the day? He looks after his sister, right? Is there anything else?
He's like a dad.
He derives meaning from, I guess? I don't know.
Which seems like another thing like this, where people sort of talk about how they talk about being a parent. It's like, oh, this is the biggest journey of your life. This is the most important thing you'll ever do, and they love their kids so much. But also, if you've ever been around any parents, it seems like they hate every second of being a parent. So it's probably this duality of like it sucks half the time and it's like really rewarding half the time, or maybe it's even just really rewarding like 10% of the time, but that's so rewarding and et cetera, et cetera.
But you look back on it and you're like, I miss those days.
Oh yeah, because Nige is his daughter, Lamau. I was being on topic, EliteAri. How dare you accuse me of not being?
I would never.
The sort of aspiration is once you achieve your goals, you'll be happy type thing. And I guess my thoughts, because I'm not there yet, EliteAri, but eventually you think, I think I would be happier if I got there. And it's sort of the trepidation of like, will you be, or will it sort of be the same thing over and over? Another depressing thing I was thinking about recently is like, I don't know if EliteAri, if I ask you the question, what's the best day of your life or the happiest moment in your life? You don't have to say it, but like, does something pop into your mind?
I have long stretches of time that pop into my mind. If it's, I don't know.
Maybe
like for instance, when I lived in Canada, for instance, or the first day that I moved in with my friends as like a big roommate situation, I thought that was a really great day. Stuff like that.
I think I'm self-reporting, but I can't think of a single thing, and it's kind of sad. But I've been thinking about that a lot recently, and I wonder if I'm just sort of the person where it all sort of blends together. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, what did I get really excited for as a kid? And I'd be like, well, when we were going to, like, Dreamworld or something, that's a big amusement park here in Australia, right? I'd be like, that would be, like, a day where you're like, oh, my God, I can't even believe this is happening. This is so great.
Yeah.
And I didn't even like roller coasters or anything, but... And I haven't been to Dreamworld in like 12 years. And the other day I was almost like, there was an idea of going to a theme park again. And I was like, oh my God, that would be like the most interesting, coolest thing ever to like see this place that I would have gone to like 12 times when I was a kid. And I feel like I would have remembered like every bit of it. It's like that forgotten nostalgia shit where you watch Pokemon the movie 2000 for the first time in 15 years. And you're like, oh my God, the person I was back then. And sort of these memories, and this place still exists. And now Dreamworld's probably been renovated and nothing will look the same. And I'm probably not going to go back. But it's sort of like this sort of memory stuff. But that's an idea of thing. Forgot nostalgia. You should watch the video, right? Is there anything that makes you feel like that when you're an adult? Or is childhood really the only time you can be happy in your life? That's sort of what I've been thinking about. But you have a good point. Now, tonight I was kind of like, I don't want to fucking record Chainsaw Man. This shit fucking sucks. Now, when I get here, it's a fun time. But like, when it was like time to record Black Sails, that was so exciting. I was like, oh my God, it's Black Sails Day. We're going to talk about Black Sails for fucking 3 hours with EliteAri. This is the greatest. So you are correct. That's fun. So I guess talking to friends is fun. But kind of. Like I went out with my friends early tonight for like an hour or two. That was fun. I was looking forward to that. But part of me was like, I should probably be working on a video. I've only got 2 days off. Maybe part of it is like the that I am a big like, I guess a half, what's the bad version? Half empty. I'm a half empty cup dude. So like the fact that I have 2 days off is like already depressing. I'm like, oh my God, it's like midday of the first day I have off and I haven't done anything. And oh my God, I have to go back. I used to be terrible at like this when a kid. Like it would be like 10 a.m. on a Saturday and I'd be like, I got to go back to school soon. I'm going to fucking kill myself. I hate school so much. And like it ruins any good times you have because you're just thinking about the shitty fucking school you got to go back to on Monday. And I got to go back to work in 2 days. And it's like, And work is fun. I don't even hate work. So I don't know what I'm worrying about. But there's that work isn't that fun. It's like, okay. Time goes fast. It's not boring. And you get paid for it. That's fun, EliteAri. I think I am unwell.
This is really interesting. I don't know. I worked very briefly at like say like a similar job to you.
Yeah. Which
and I truly detested it. Yeah, I truly didn't like it. I would always dread going there, and I would have a similar feeling of like, I've got 2 days off. For me, it was longer. I was like, I got 3 days off, and now I'm on the second day. It's almost done. That means I only have 1 day left. What am I going to do tomorrow? Like all my plans, blah, blah, blah. But I felt that way because I hated it. I would get like anxiety of like, I'm at work, now I need to talk to customers, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can't imagine why you wouldn't like if you enjoy the work. I don't know why you wouldn't like it. I guess.
Enjoy it's a little bit. I guess I do enjoy it when you're doing it, but like thinking about doing it sucks. I guess it's kind of the same for like making videos, where it's like, when you're actually doing it, it sucks, but all the mental like prep beforehand like sucks. Like, I got to make a video. Fuck me. You're scripting it. You're having a fun time. Like, oh my God, I'm getting the ideas down. This is fucking great. Nothing feels better than this. But even then, like, writing a video isn't fun. It's just sort of like, getting stuff done. That's fun in that sense. But work isn't really about getting stuff done. Well, it is sort of, but again, it's not like your stuff you're doing. You're doing shit for somebody else and getting paid for it. But there is definitely like part of the like happiness doesn't exist, Lamau, you'll never be happy thing is that like work is like complete like when I'm showing up and I'm like, oh, I know exactly what we're gonna do today and it's easy and I've done it like probably not a million times at this point. It's like, oh, I'm feeling the shit. I know exactly I can speed through this. I'm gonna do this and this, and you're always thinking about what you can do next, so you're never bored and you're sort of always on, working, your brain's working, etc., etc. But there is days where like, oh, maybe you are going to work in a different department the next shift. So, I'm going to worry about that like all week. And it's like, oh, what's this going to be like? And once you get there, like you just talk to somebody and they tell you what to do and it's fine. But like, what if I get there and there's nobody there? And what am I going to do? What if they're a prick? What if like they're going to get mad at me for doing something wrong? And there is the worrying there. But you only did that job for a very short period, right?
Yep.
Because I would probably at the beginning of when I started working, it would definitely be similar where it was like, oh, shit, I don't know what I'm doing. People are going to get mad if I do something wrong. I don't want to be confronted, all this stuff. So I don't know. I warned everybody that this was going to be very personal. We were talking about the meaning of life, right? So is ISA, right? This is on topic.
Yeah.
But yeah, where were we up to in that conversation?
Well, I feel like there's also the other example of school. Is really interesting because I feel like a lot of people relate to you where it's like, no,
I'm gonna ask you if you
like
did.
I absolutely do not. School was the highlight of my life. I loved going to school because I know, okay, I get to talk to my friends. They're all there. It's going to be great. We could have a classes. It's all great.
This is actually interesting because there was a period where I did like going to school on certain days when I had English class with Black Lagoon Girl. So I think, because we always talk about this difference with me and Miller, but I think it's similar with you, where it's sort of like Miller seems to gravitate towards stories where it's like, oh, a bunch of group of friends going together, and Miller's always talking about how he has fun hanging out with his friends, and all his friends are like media savvy dudes who they go to movies and talk about them afterwards, and it's like, oh, this is sort of like, oh, he likes having friends. And I'm like, I don't need any of this fucking shit, this friend shit. I just want a girlfriend, Lamau. So it's interesting that like, you're like, I get to go to school and talk to my friends. And like the only time I ever looked forward to going to school was to talk to Black Lagoon Girl in English class when we were doing the Crucible. Tie that all in. Go watch the Crucible.
So what's the deeper thing here? So are you want to talk to do you want to have a girlfriend because society expects you to have one, and you're like, I want to be
not
cool.
at all.
Like, is that why you want to? Okay, so you just like the actual companionship.
Yeah. Yeah. There's. I was like,
did you like
should
feeling
I say
special
that?
when she was talking to you in school?
No, I think it's just literally so fun to flirt. I guess.
Okay.
I guess that's just it.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like very like what's the word? Like it's fun, I guess.
It's fun. It's engaging. I don't know. I know what you mean.
You sort of don't think. You just you get a little flush. Your adrenaline's going. I guess it's just a fun time. I guess. And other things like that, like,
makes sense.
I really like playing sport. Like if I could join like a touch footy competition, like in my local area, which I've kind of looked into and will probably never do because, oh my God, you got to go and meet all these people. I don't know anybody here, EliteAri. I'm not doing that. But I feel like that is a very similar thing where when you're playing sport or running or anything like that, it's just sort of you don't even think, you're just doing it type activity. I guess when you're working, it's kind of like that, especially doing what I'm doing, which is basically all like physical labor. I'm in the mines, guys. I work hard.
Yep.
That was a joke, chat.
No, he's not. It's a joke. His job is hard.
Yes, it's the subversion and the subversion. Is Denji actually saying? Yeah. Oh no. That's the. What was the Denji example earlier? Don't answer that. It's irrelevant. But yeah, those things are fun because I was thinking about that. I feel like I had this conversation with somebody in Discord. It might have been Minty because all of the deepest conversations happen with Minty, EliteAri. Where I was like, I think I asked this generally where I was like, what even is fun in life? And I was sort of going through things because I was like, work kind of sucks. Making videos doesn't really make me happy. Like, what is happy? And I think I literally said talking to girls and like football. Though you can have a boring football game to watch and to play in if you're getting beaten like 50 fucking nil. And if it's gone bad with a girl, oh my goodness, nothing worse than that, EliteAri. So there are negatives to this. So I guess people just like different things in life. The good things in life
True,
are
yeah.
talking about Black Sails with EliteAri, but we ran out of seasons. So here we are talking about
Absolutely.
Chainsaw Man. Which is kind of good, I guess. I guess it's just the weekly Chainsaw Man thing. Because I was super excited when we could talk about like big chunks of Chainsaw Man chapters. But sometimes with these fucking thingies, I'm like, oh, I gotta export this. Oh my god, maybe I only liked those other things because you exported it and uploaded it to EliteAri, and I hate doing that.
Yeah, I do all the structuring. I do. Yeah, true.
I just want
Oh
to
my
come and
goodness.
talk about Chainsaw Man. I don't want to. By the way, how the fuck have we been going this long? Is this 30 frames per second shit working, EliteAri? Because we've been going for an hour and 15 and I haven't even got a battery warning yet.
Yeah,
EliteAri saved the
probably.
day, chat. You record things at what are we doing? 30 frames per second? Battery lasts longer. Who knew?
Yep.
He's been telling me this for like 10 months and I just ignored him every time. And here we are. So Isa is figuring out that that talking to girls is fun, EliteAri. That's what's happening here. How did he get over that Chainsaw Man?
Right.
Oh, I remember she's asking Spider-Man how he's a superhero, and he's saying he wasn't. Only I've got something to live for. Oh yeah, he says parenting is what you live for. We already talked about that. Something I look forward to so much that I'm willing to eat that crap burger. What's that? Sex, I want to have sex. Oh, I thought he was talking about Nayata, but he's talking about how much he wants to have sex. Now, also, when I got to this part, I'm like, oh my god, Isa's going to be like, she's going to scream, yay, because she wants to have sex too, and they're going to be nymphos together, and I was so excited, but she does the dumb girl, ooh. I hate Ice.
It's great.
She sucks.
It's so cute.
It's much better on
Look at her.
character.
She's disgusting.
Yeah, but it is funny though. The ew. The cuteness is again that they want the same thing. They're just communicating it differently.
Yeah.
Fuck. There was something I wanted to say before that. I've got something to look forward to. Willing to eat that crap burger. It's gone. Sex, EliteAri. Funny, huh?
And great.
I wonder what happens immediately afterwards. Do they start rising again? Because sex is scary. Now that's pretty scary, EliteAri. We know the sex devil is going to show up.
Eventually, yeah.
If this was Berserk, the rape devil would be showing up, and he would be pretty scary, EliteAri. He would be those penis monsters from Casca's Dreamscape that one time. That's at the very end of Berserk. Do you remember that?
That's really interesting because I do, and I think it's never confirmed that they are the penis monsters or whatever. But I
Yeah,
always
they
thought
just
it
look very
reminded me of
phallic.
it.
Kind of everything in Casca's
Yeah.
Dreamscape looks rather phallic. But Shurikei and Farnese are there through feminist powers to defeat rape. It's pretty sick. It's kind of sexist that like Casca's mind breaks from rape, right? Kind of a plot convenience.
Not at all. No, why would that be sexist? She was raped. That's like a.
I don't think people
know.
go R word because they get raped. I feel like it was just she was in the Black Swordsman arc and I don't want to kill her off. I got to figure something out.
What? Wait, is this a Berserk thing or
Yeah,
did I miss something? What are we talking about?
Why did I go into that tangent? Oh, because the rape devil was going to show up because the sex devil was scary and I made a joke about that. And then we talked about Casca's Dream
Right.
Shape. Anyway, that's a conversation for a different day. First of all,
okay, yeah,
it
we'll
absolutely
discuss
is.
this
But
one
second
day,
of all, Chainsaw Man.
I don't even follow the point. All right, let's Chainsaw Man.
Sex?
Hmm?
What's happening
Hello?
immediately after I think we were at?
Oh yeah, okay. I thought you cut off. Jesus, you're scaring me.
No, you scared me.
All right, so they're gonna fall down from the sky, because Asa's brain will be distracted by gross sex. But I want sex, and she's gonna like blush and but
What
then
if
she's
she
gonna be like,
realized
"That's
that it was
disgusting."
Denji in this moment? Because she was saying Chainsaw Man before because she still doesn't know, remember? Because she's being a fucking idiot.
Mm.
Because she's like,
No,
yeah,
no
that's
way.
some Denji
I think
shit.
look at his disguise. It's perfect. How could she know?
Yeah, he's wearing the exact same clothes. Crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it is interesting what happens directly next. Because Nayada doesn't want him to hang out, but they're obviously going to hang out more. There's this fucking dumb devil, and Justice is down there somewhere. I hate speculation. Okay.
All right. I'm just trying to think. So we've got Yoru as well is going on. The Falling Devil is still in action, so the Falling Devil could still will still come back, right? Like, why is she letting this happen? I guess. Where did we last see her, honestly? Did we even see her at all this chapter? Oh yeah, she like
What did
flung
she
us
do?
her in the air.
I guess she's just watching this.
Okay, maybe we'll just next chapter. Yoshida will show up and the falling devil will be dead.
Yeah, because he's so powerful and stuff.
Yeah.
Hold on,
But
I
then
dropped
it'll
my
be revealed
fucking
it's not
thing.
Yoshida, it's the Justice Devil that is also the clone devil that can appear like Yoshida because they can clone his appearance. And it's like we've never seen Yoshida this whole time. It's actually been the Justice falling clone devil thing, not the falling devil.
What if Justice is just like remember that Death Note scene where he's like, oh, everybody just says what everybody else thinks. What if Justice is just like collective group like copycatisms, and that's why you can clone people if you're the Justice Devil, or you can become people or clone yourself. You know what I'm fucking talking
Sure,
about.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Like justice doesn't exist. Again, we're in nihilism. We're in 14-year-old mode. There's no justice. There's no good ideas. Everybody just copies each other until like, and it's actually nobody's belief, but everybody pretends it is because that's how people work. Now I dropped my fucking hairband and I don't know where it went, EliteAri, and that's an urgent
Oh
pressing
god,
issue.
that's terrible.
I gotta
You got
turn
that
this
backup
phone
one on your wrist?
Yep, but I want the other one back.
Nice.
Now I got my fucking.
All right, let me
light
go
on,
through my notes then while you do that.
and I can't find it.
Chapter 126, title was Food Fight. Yep. Actually, I don't think I have any meaningful notes. What is there? Bringing us to the Hell, the Falling Devil tasked with feeding residents. Talked about that. Aki and Power, the biggest trauma. Yep, amen. Denji cut his brain to stop him thinking. Absolutely.
I didn't even think that the fucking father shit should have been there until you said it when we were recording. But
Yeah,
that's fucking
I was
funny.
very glad it wasn't. Yeah.
Oh, I found it. Oh, everything's good.
Well done. She lets Denji eat her, then respawns. Absolutely. Then we healed Denji, so you know we got the Justice Devil. It could be Naito. It's probably not. Could be the Death Devil. It's probably not. Could be the Great King of Death or whatever it's called, but probably not. Could be the
not
next Blood
Naito.
Devil. You know, who knows? Maybe not. Could be the school council president, but probably not.
Hold on. You know how I hate speculation? What's going to be the subversion when the Blood Devil shows up? Because they already promised she would. They would. Because of that dumb shit with Power at the end of the last part. Like, is it going to be?
You know
like,
what would be an interesting subversion?
what?
If it's literally Power. It's like it's the exact
It's
same person.
so good, though.
Wouldn't that be an interesting subversion?
Isn't it so good if it's just like literally Power shows up, and it's such a hack thing to just have the character come back, but it's funny because it's Chainsaw Man and we're on layer 2. It's such a good idea. It's
that.
literally
Yeah.
Power again.
Yeah.
Death means nothing in Chainsaw Man. All the video essays will be out. They're not gonna like it, just like Naruto. All right. It's so good. That's the perfect subversion. It's not gonna happen, I don't think. It'll be like a
it'll
boy.
it'll be a man, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at us, same wavelength. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That's just the. But we always talk about Power's gender as a thing, and like, what if it's a dude, bro? Because remember, Power's face was just some fucking bitch she killed. That was no good. No, that's the real Power. Oh, the body comes back too. Nah.
True.
We just want Power back a little.
All right. I do want. Well, I don't know. Honestly, I was. God, that Fully Cooley thing honestly was so close to ruining Chainsaw Man
I
for me.
swear
I
I've had
know
things
it
like
sounds
that.
like I'm joking, but I'm not.
Yeah, I know exactly the feeling you would have had. I'm trying to think of something similar where I've had, like, it would be I think it would be a Rick and Morty thing, unironically, which isn't comparable because I haven't seen Rick and Morty ever, and I'm just like
Jesus
the
Christ.
most low IQ like internet like Rick and Morty fan base is cringe, therefore I think it's cringe. Take that's my take.
Yep. You know what's interesting? You were talking about how like Destiny like enlightened you or whatever. Everyone has this guru that there's always the next guru or whatever. I'm certain that you are that guru to some people who listen to you. Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's
that
really
has to
interesting
be
because
true,
you have
yeah.
like very different takes and you think that certain things are cringe and stuff. Like there's definitely people who listen to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ain't that a scary thought? Actually, it's not scary to me at all, and I like it. But I'm just saying
Nice,
that to
very
seem
good.
self-aware and
Yes.
something.
All right, chapter 127. Save the Usa. Reference to Save the Cat. What's really interesting is that we've both watched this video essay about the Falling Devil. It was
Oh,
like the
yeah,
beauty of the Falling
since.
Devil or something. And that video just like nailed this whole thing, right?
Did it?
With
I
Usa
don't
being
remember
the
what the
cat
video
and
said.
yeah. it talks about how Denji is a dog and Asa is a cat, and how Asa is falling down and keeps falling and falling and falling, but eventually she's going to learn to not be afraid of falling.
Yeah, because the
It
thing about how on the flashback she has like repeated falling memes. Yeah.
yeah. So it's kind of interesting how that it kind of was
Because
it is what's going on here. I guess it's not over yet, so it could change, but it seems like Asa will now hopefully be over.
because
Till we live in a happier life.
there was one thing in that video where I like screamed of course, and I was like, oh, this is like, how did I not think of that? And was it the falling cat comparison? Do you remember? Because I would have
Yeah,
typed this
I
in
think so.
Discord. But yeah, crazy.
I love that video. I love the line at the end where he's talking about how like Asa this blah blah blah, and she has a cat and the cat does this, and she's like, and cats, they always land on their 2 feet, and I'm like, oh my god, it's perfect. Asa's gonna land on her feet. Oh my god. Anyway, uh love it. Great video, whoever made that.
Yeah, I already
What
forgot who
else?
did
Falling
too.
Devil. Falling Devil notices that Asa is fine with dying. Yeah, true. Okay, Asa gives up. She closes her eyes, so she accepts death by closing her eyes. Asa has an internal monologue when she's dying, just like, oh yeah, just like the speech is given about, oh, I don't, at least I wanted one person to blah blah blah. That's just like in chapter 1 of part 2, where she's talking about, oh, when she's dying, she's like, oh, I wish I had a boyfriend. I wish I had friends at least once or whatever.
Isn't that also a Denji thing
Interesting
from chapter
callback.
1?
Is it? Wait, chapter 1 of what? Of part 1?
Yeah. Doesn't he have like a
Yeah, yeah, true. It is. Yeah, you're
yeah.
right. Where, yeah.
Yeah, everything Denji. No, I'm trying to insult Isa by saying Denji did it first. Everything, every.
Yeah, everything that Asa does, Denji's already done, but Asa does it
Yeah,
better.
that's
Yeah,
what I
I
was
agree.
trying to say.
All right, cool. um,
I kept getting stuck on everything you can do, I can do better, but that would make Isa better, and we don't like that.
that is what's happening. Yeah, Asa does everything better. All right, Denji wants to have sex. Makes sense. Yep, that's it. All my notes.
Remember when you grabbed that TV and said, "I want to have sex"? Greatest moment in Chainsaw Man history. Uh,
True.
this one was less good, but I guess it was all right. Chapter was good. Is our conclusion?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else to say?
I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yes. Until it comes, and then I'll be like, oh, I gotta read this fucking shit. And then I'll tab over. I do like that it takes like 3 minutes to read. If that.
Mm.
And I'd just be like, oh, fucking read it, Lamau. That helps with the weekly nonsense. I'm probably never gonna get to fucking have a block of these chapters ever again, huh? You're not gonna let me?
Yep.
Just like fucking Vinland Saga. Remember at the beginning of the Vinland arc when I had like 9 chapters to read? And I was like, oh, this is the greatest manga of all time. Now we're back to this fucking monthly shit. Ugh. Pich. Can't you wait until like 3 Berserk chapters come out at the end of the month? That's good. The 3 Berserk pages. Chapters would be crazy. This release schedule shit. Terrible. Only start reading complete mangas. That's our ultimate conclusion. That'll bring you happiness.
Yep.
There we go. We tied it all.
I agree.
So am I doing an outro right now, EliteAri? Is that what's happening?
Unless you have anything else to say.
I don't got nothing else to say. We'll be back in a week for EliteAri. For I nearly said for Mr. ENT, but it's so cringe. I can never say it in my life, right? It's so
Yeah, you're
bad.
above that, right?
Oh, it's so cringe. Support links in the description below. Thanks.